Hi. First of all, I want to thank everybody for coming today. It's a spectacular day where we could all be doing something probably a little bit nicer, but nonetheless, I appreciate you taking the time to come here. I want to thank Mayor Lightfoot, Alderman Mitz, Andrea Zopp from World Business Chicago. I think Commissioner Cox is on his way up. And I want to have a special thank you to Samir Mayakar, the only guy in the city of Chicago that returns phone calls. He's terrific. This project was conceived nearly 3 years ago on the thesis for a creative workspace. And through the virus and everything that's happened, it's become even more validated today as we look for an environment that people can simply work safely in a campus-like setting, providing accessible outdoor space, and you can circulate through the buildings without crowding into elevators. We're also really fortunate that we've been able to save and repurpose this structure, which has national significance. It was created and built for Pyle National, and simply they created the electric headlight for rail cars. They made a number of electronic components, and they ultimately were the company behind illuminating Wrigley Field. One of the key important things of this campus is the equity benefits that are going to be given to the surrounding neighborhood and the community, and not only through our substantial cash investment and aesthetic improvements, but also through the appreciation of the surrounding area, crime reduction. It's all going to contribute to the stabilization as we look at West Humboldt Park and the Austin neighborhoods. We've worked over 3 years on this project, and it's been, no question, it's been a difficult road. And I want to just thank some of the people that are here that have helped us, some of our team. We've got Andrea Caputo of Ratio Architects as our architectural firm. Ross Allen represents Arco Murray, our construction team. Doug Hayes and Zach Pruitt are Colley Commercial. They are our leasing team. Jamie Bola of DMA is project management. I want to give a shout out to Brian McCoy, who works with me and unfortunately couldn't be here today. And finally, most importantly, the reason this project comes to realization and commitment through Ari Glass and Joe Mansueto and the whole Mansueto office team. And without their commitment, we'd not be here today. And with that, I'd like to just introduce Joe Mansueto.
Good afternoon, everybody. Thank you very much, Gary, for those nice comments. We're absolutely thrilled to begin groundbreaking today on this project. And I have to give Gary a lot of credit. This was Gary's vision to revitalize this building. But I like to invest according to my passions. And a couple of the passions that are resident in this project are, one, the city of Chicago. I'm a big believer in the future of the city of Chicago. I came to Chicago, I grew up in Indiana as a college student, and I've been here since the fall of 1974. And in that time, Chicago has gone in one direction, and the neighborhoods have gone in one direction. And so I'm just thrilled to be able to invest in the neighborhoods and be a part of that continued growth. Especially in this neighborhood, the West Humboldt Park, Austin area, I think is already trending up. Hopefully with this development, it'll be a catalyst for other similar developments and help take that to another level. So we're really excited to be investing more in Chicago, aligning with the mayor's vision to get out into the neighborhoods and invest in Chicago's neighborhoods. Then secondly, another passion of mine is design and architecture. I like to preserve the past with buildings and invest in buildings with the highest quality of design and architecture. And you can begin to envision what this space is going to be like. I mean, as Gary said, this used to be an industrial factory. So to repurpose this building into contemporary office space, I think is going to really resonate with people. You can imagine removing the glass blocks, putting in clear glass, these high ceilings. This is really what tenants want today, especially as a lot of tenants are getting priced out of other areas of Chicago that are growing, like the West Loop. Great area, but getting pricier. And so if we can make this affordable space, but really beautiful space for creative workplace. And people, really respond well to exposed brick, the high ceilings, but with all the contemporary infrastructure and contemporary amenities. And so that is the vision that Gary has laid out and that we're just thrilled to be a part of. So with that, again, I want to thank Gary for all of his visionary work to bring out this project to its completion. I'd like to thank Ari Glass, who I work with. Ari has really spearheaded this on a day-to-day basis. And then, of course, the mayor, and for all of her encouragement for people like us to get out into the neighborhoods, invest in the neighborhoods. The downtown's important, yes, but also the neighborhoods deserve a lot of our attention and investment, and we're thrilled to be supportive of that vision and to be a part of it. So with that, I'm going to turn it over to the mayor, to Ari. I'm sorry, I should look at the agenda here. My fault. Andrea,
Joe, it's
yes, there we go, sorry.
No problem. Good morning. My name is Andy Zopp. I'm the president and CEO of World Business Chicago, and I am super excited to be here. So there's lots of reasons, but there are two primary ones. One is, in a former life, both myself and the mayor were trial lawyers. And good trial lawyers love a demonstrative exhibit, that a whole idea that a picture is worth 1,000 words. And where we are standing right now and what is going to happen here is a demonstrative exhibit. It's going to be a real life example of why the Invest Southwest program that the mayor has stood behind and envisioned and created and under her leadership is happening is so critically important. We are going to transform that investment, that public-private investment is going to transform this building and ultimately then transform this neighborhood with sustainable, long-term, positive change. So that's number one. Number two, it's a demonstrative exhibit about why we fight hard to bring opportunity zone investments, those public-private dollars, into the neighborhoods to drive real change. And then my third reason is that this is going to make a huge difference for this neighborhood because it's going to create jobs. It's going to drive long-term sustainable change for the people who live around here so that they can have the kinds of neighborhoods that we all want, where you can live, you can be safe, your kids can find work, you can buy the things that you want to have. This kind of investment drives that. People will be coming to work here, they'll be spending their money in this community, they'll be creating jobs for the residents, and it makes a big difference. When you come back, when this is done, you will be amazed not only at this facility, but what's happening around it. And that is the power of transformative change. And so I'm excited to be here. I'm also thrilled to have the privilege to work at World Business Chicago and to work with the City of Chicago, with Deputy Mayor Samir Mayakar, and to work with an incredible leader who has the vision to see that we can, if we come together, make change that works for all of the residents of Chicago, and today, particularly for the residents on the west side. And with that, it's my privilege to introduce Mayor Lori Lightfoot.
Thank you, Andy. Thank you, Joe. And thank you, Ari. And thank you for everybody who's involved in this project. Let me recognize specifically a few. Of course, my friend and partner, Emma Mitz. I said to Emma, how many times has a mayor been out to the west side to do groundbreaking? So we've been out here a lot because we believe in the west side, we believe in these neighborhoods, and this won't be the last time that we're here. I want to recognize Department of Planning and Development Commissioner Maurice Cox, who's sitting on the end, who brings an incredible vision and passion for transforming beautiful buildings and structures like this one. So thank you, Commissioner. Of course, Deputy Mayor for Neighborhood and Economic Development, Samir Mayakar, who's been a great partner, not only for me and but also I think for businesses to get them to expand their horizon about Chicago beyond the downtown area into our neighborhoods. Andy Zopp, who you just heard from, longtime friend, who is a great leader of World Business Chicago. And I also want to thank Joe Mansueto, who is a true civic leader and partner, his colleague Ari Glass, and IBT Group for really having the vision and the determination to make the vision a reality. That's why we're here today. I also want to take a moment of personal privilege and say welcome back to Anel Ruiz, who has been gone with her new child and is coming back into the fray with us. So welcome back, Anel. This is a great day for our historic West Humboldt Park community and really for our entire city. Just over a year ago, we announced our signature economic development plan called Invest Southwest to bring together government, business, philanthropy, and community leaders together to draw out the untapped potential of our city's neglected neighborhoods on the south and west sides. And that includes West Humboldt Park neighborhood that we're standing in right now. Now, I will tell you, when I first got elected mayor and I started talking about underinvestment in the south and the west sides, I had a number of people in the business community say, we're worried that she doesn't understand business. No, I do. And what I know is that when we are intentional, that we are purposeful, and the mayor uses her bully pulpit to challenge members of the business community, investors, to expand their horizons, that we get things done. That is how we built out the South Loop, the West Loop, River North, and that is what we will be doing as long as I am mayor, to also help build out the South and the West Side. Now, I know what I'm doing because I have a vision, but I also have a passion to make sure that people in these neighborhoods who haven't seen a dime of investment for decades also are respected, also are heard, because that is what truly will make us a great global city. If we keep hemorrhaging population from our south and our west side, if our young people grow up and do not believe that their city sees them or cares about them, then how will they stay? Who will be the one who tells them their future is here, if not me and if not now? And that's why I care so much about developments like this. It's by creating community resources and opportunities through visions like Invest Southwest and using the leverage of opportunity zones that we enrich neighborhoods and we give our residents the tools that they need to obtain and aspire to upward mobility and to reach their God-given potential. It's with that spirit that we're here today to break ground for the terminal, which serves as an exciting next step towards fully catalyzing the economic recovery and unlocking the potential of our great West Side. It also serves as a testament to our city's resilience as we continue to respond to the health and economic challenges that COVID-19 has presented. Over these past 8 months, what has kept us grounded is our shared faith in our ability to rise above the challenges that the fakes put in front of us and use those challenges as opportunities to come out better and stronger and more united than we've ever been before. This confidence makes developments like the terminal possible. The terminal, which leverages an impressive $40 to $50 million investment, will redevelop this industrial loft and warehouse space into 240,000 square foot creative campus with incubator spaces carved out for businesses and communities. Once this project is completed, it will create 200 jobs and become an innovation hub for our West Humboldt Park community. But the terminal's impact doesn't just stop there. In fact, it builds on our ongoing work to leverage additional pathways for equitable investment to funnel resources into communities that need it most. That's why I'm especially excited. The terminal is also about $10 to $15 million Opportunity Zone investment project. As many of you are aware, the Opportunity Zone program is a federal initiative that seeks to uplift and revitalize our most underinvested communities by encouraging private investment in these communities through tax incentives for qualified investors. These are communities where you can walk from block to block and see nothing but boarded up, abandoned buildings, vacant lots, and in this case, empty or underutilized warehouses. Make no mistake, this is a result of decades upon decades of disinvestment. Some of you know that I grew up in a small steel town. And when the steel industry went away in the early 1970s, block after block of vacant buildings, old steel mills, old warehouses that supported those steel mills just emptied out and were these, in some ways, taunting relics of what had been but was no longer in my town. If I go back there today, as I do from time to time, I see those same empty buildings, not repurposed. So it gives me particular pleasure to be here in this moment with this exciting project, to see the transformation that will happen because of commitment and vision around what is possible, but also what is needed, and making that commitment to a community like West Humboldt Park. Thank you. We have to forge partnerships with the private sector, and that has been critical and will remain so in turning these trends around, to not only help business expand, but also to give these same businesses the opportunity to step up, give back, and build relationships with communities. The terminal truly captures the power of public-private partnership, which is integral to our program, Invest Southwest, and our ongoing efforts to enhance the economic vibrancy of neighborhoods all over our city. I want to say once again and recognize Joe Mansueto, who really truly embodies civic leadership, the IBT group, and Joe's team at the Mansueto office for their vision and commitment, which made this moment possible. Projects like these make it crystal clear in the eyes of the entire city, particularly the neighborhood, but also the world, that we are committed to making sure that we create real, tangible opportunity in our neighborhoods. And these are invaluable as we continue to find ways to generate jobs, rejuvenate our city's economy, and create opportunities for our residents during this unprecedented time. It is important that this work is happening in a neighborhood like West Humboldt Park. So I want to thank you for betting on Chicago. I want to thank you for your commitment to being a leader in the city and to partnering with us to help transform the lives and fortunes of neighborhoods who need it most. And with that, I welcome to the stage my friend and partner, Alderman Emma Mitz. Emma?
Good afternoon. Welcome everyone to the West Side, 37th Ward. Alderman Burnett, you know what we say on the West Side? We call it the best side. Special thanks and recognition to the Honorable Mayor Laura Lightfoot, Andrea Zapp, the head of World Business, Chicago, and Gary Pachuca of IBT Group LLC. Thank you so much for looking at West Humboldt Park, 37th Ward. This special thank you today is from the bottom of our heart in bringing this project to the community. The Loft Innovation Terminal is going to help change the landscape of the neighborhood. It will also remove the blatant vacant building, and that's a good thing. This new terminal will bring economic development, jobs, opportunities, and hope to local residents. It will help transform the area into what community area can become during these challenging times of crisis and citywide changes. The loft will be both sustainable and culturally inclusive. It also preserves and repurposes a historic facility while promoting creativity and collaboration. The Loft Innovative Terminal is sophisticated in design and layout, which envision a dynamic city workplace experience. As Alderman, one of my key priorities is to help local communities reach their greatest potential. My vision always focused on the future of the West Side, 37th Ward. Always focus on the future of the 37th Ward. When coronavirus struck, everything changed overnight. Times like these require strong faith and committed action. That's why I stand strongly supporting the Mayor's Invest Southwest initiative. The journey to create successful neighborhoods, marketplaces during challenging times like these truly takes a commitment. We all know that opening in the middle of a pandemic is not easy. And that's why the 37th Ward welcomes and celebrates and look forward to the success that newly opened business can come in and be a part of. We work the plan. First, we dream. Then we design our strategy, and finally, we were determined to succeed. I've worked hard in partnership with public officials, local business group, community leaders. Together, we have successfully revitalized several major commercial quarters, bringing jobs, affordable housing, educational, and other resources to benefit my constituents. When the dust settles on the ground, we are boldly optimistic. We continue to fight for visionary progress today and tomorrow. The 37th Ward won't be silent or stop, and neither will I. In conclusion, thanks to Gary once again for having the vision, and the entire team for saving the historic former property, bringing the IBT Loft Innovation Terminal and economic vitality to our West Humboldt Park community. Our dream now is reality, making Chicago a better, a brighter place for everyone. We no longer can say West Loop doing business. We're gonna say bring the business to West Humboldt Park now. Thank you.
So good afternoon, everyone. It's wonderful to be here. I have to first thank my partner, Alderman Mitz, who you have to know over about a year ago, she had me tour her ward with an idea of taking me to the hidden gems of her ward that perhaps others didn't see. And do you know that one of those stops in that tour was this building? She had already seen its potential, wanted me to say it, and she says, you know, I have a developer who envisions this as a hub of activity. I said, we need to jump on this project and help make it happen. So I am thrilled in less than a year to be here celebrating this groundbreaking. But I also want to thank the mayor for having the courage to say it out loud, to invest in the West Side, to invest in the South Side. The bully pulpit that she uses to attract investors and bring those to the neighborhoods, it's amazing. And I don't think we would be here if folks were not listening attentively to that directive. So thank you for having the courage to use your office to attract this investment in the city's neighborhoods that need it. So, the Invest Southwest concept is a very, very simple one. And the mayor has said, and I believe it, that we can strategically use the public investment and philanthropic investment to send a clear signal to the private sector that we will be there and be their partner as they invest in the neighborhoods. And so we chose 10 community areas across the South and West Side. And Humboldt Park is one, Austin is another, and very specifically to leverage our public investment to make private investment happen. So quickly, soon after this, you will see the restoration of the Laramie Bank on Chicago. On North, the Central Bank is another site that we hope to bring opportunity to. So these are areas that are a quarter mile from where we stand today. So there is a much larger ecosystem that we are trying to create. And it's not by chance that we are going first and foremost to those historic assets that exist in these communities. And they exist all over Chicago, waiting for their correct reuse. So I was thrilled to hear about the programmatic agenda for this. I was absolutely amazed to be in this cathedral of production, and I can imagine it humming with activity and innovation in just a little while from now. So this is how we should start, to value those assets that we have in neighborhoods that are going to show people that exciting, innovative things can happen all over the West and South Side. So just thank you for your vision. I'm thrilled that it aligns so beautifully with the mayor's vision and your investors' vision. And I'm really anxious to see when this will happen. And perhaps you'll tell us exactly when it will open. I look forward to that. You're going to say that now?
Yeah, we should, we're going to be starting our phase 1, hopefully in the next couple of months. We're in for a building permit now, and that phase 1 should be delivered probably in the spring. And then construction development period should take about 30 months rolling thereafter.
It's fantastic. So we'll be here opening it up in just 30 months. So once again, I think it's a testament that innovation can happen in any of our neighborhoods in Chicago. I am personally thrilled that it's happening on the West Side and in Humboldt Park, and for an extraordinary leader like Mitz. So thank you all, and you have our partnership at every step of the way. Thank you.
And I think, Ari, you're next.
I'm Ari Glass. I work as head of real estate for Joe in Mansueto office. Most everybody up here, the mayor especially, and alderman and commissioner and World Business Chicago, have said, what do you add to that, right? So I'll be very brief. I joined Joe about 15 months ago. I was part of the team that had done the renovation of the Wrigley building, and when Joe purchased it from our group, we got to know each other, and he shortly thereafter purchased the Belden Stratford in Lincoln Park, and I jumped at a chance to work with him, work for him. From my first day, we talked about expanding that reach into the neighborhoods. And one of the things that was really important to us, but is not always easy to find, is something that would have enough size and enough gravity to be able to be a force for change and to be something that can really be a catalyst in a neighborhood. Luckily, I was introduced to Gary and IBT, and the day that Joe and I came and walked the facility, we knew that this was something that we wanted to be part of the portfolio. So we couldn't be happier. We look forward to having immediate impact in the community through the renovation, through construction jobs, And then we truly look forward to having a long-lasting impact in the community and watching this truly become a catalyst for this neighborhood. The mayor mentioned the Opportunity Zone legislation. One of the things that might go a little unnoticed about that, it ends up prompting a really dedicated investment. It prompts a decade-long investment. So while we look at this and we look at what this will become over the next 30 months, we also are just excited for what this is going to become over the next decade. And we truly hope that it will be a catalyst for the neighborhood. So thank you all for being here. Thank you.
Once again, I want to thank Ari and Joe, because most of you do not realize how difficult it is to raise this kind of capital for this kind of a project. And these guys are amazing human beings, and I can't say it strongly enough. But now we're going to cut the ribbon. So, Mayor, if you can come and join us and take some pictures.
All right, I think we have time for a few questions.
Mayor, we'll start with some on-topic questions today from the Tribune. Is the city offering developers of this project with any incentives or funding?
This is actually 100% private investment. It aligns with our Invest Southwest, but this is really, I think, the brainchild of the developer, and then obviously sort of supported by investors like Joe Masueto in his office.
We have another on-topic question. Can you provide a response to some of the community members who say the developer of this project hasn't solicited enough community feedback?
Well, I don't know the particulars of that, but I know through work with the Alderman Mitz that there will be plenty of opportunity for the community to be involved, to get jobs, and I'm excited that this building, which is essentially laying vacant for a long time, is going to be repurposed in a way that is really going to serve the needs of the community.
We have a question from Natalie Bettis from Univision. She's asking if you could provide some commentary on the fact that former Chicago Department of Health Commissioner Julie Morita is on Biden's coronavirus task force.
I think that's a great thing. I had the privilege of working very briefly with Dr. Morita, and I would say one of the biggest contributions she's made to Chicago is hiring Allison Arwady and telling me that she was the right person to lead the Department of Public Health. But Dr. Morita obviously knows the city very well. She's a national expert. There's already been some communications with her. And the one thing that I'm certainly going to be urging with this new team is that they get mayors at the table. We have not been at the table in the previous iteration of the coronavirus task force. Everything that the task force wants to do and implement has to be implemented at the local level. So we have to have a seat at that table.
Follow-up question from Natalie. Are you happy with what you've seen in Biden's transition so far?
Well, it's only day one, but yes. So far, so good. I'm giving an A grade.
Question from Rachel with WBBM Radio. would you care to comment on the Chicago Teachers Union formally requesting mediation with CPS over the district's plan to return to in-person learning?
Well, I'm obviously aware of that, and CPS will respond in the normal course. Obviously, teachers are important. That's why CTU has been at the table from the very beginning of this pandemic. I think at this point, probably over 30 formal meetings, and that, of course, doesn't count the informal meetings. But look, I'll say what I've said all along. Yes, we're in a very challenging time regarding the arc of our virus, but we also know that remote learning, while it works for some, it doesn't work for others. And we are focused on building a pathway to get our students back in school. It's important to note that since September, over 40,000 Chicago students outside of CPS have been in some form of in-person learning, whether full-time or hybrid. And you look at the Archdiocese, you look at the other private schools, they seem to be managing their systems well. We've learned a lot from that experience and are planning to implement many of the best practices from them in addition to our own. And what we're proposing with our preschool students and our diverse learners is a small percentage of the students that of the almost 360,000 CPS students to come back to school on a hybrid basis. Look, we'll make that determination when the timing is right, but obviously as a matter of equity, so that we do not leave our kids behind, we've got to build a pathway to get them back to school. It would be great if the CTU was a productive partner in that process.
Last question for me before passing it over. This is from Craig Dillamore. He's asking, what are your thoughts on speculation and suggestions that your predecessor, Rahm Emanuel, could be given a cabinet position, either transportation or housing?
I really don't have any opinion about that.
Hi, Mayor. Am I on? Chris Hush from NBC5 here. Nice to see you. Good afternoon.
Nice to see you. How are you?
I have 2 questions, and what that means is it's 5 questions embedded into 2.
But of course.
First question, with other parts of the state moving to Tier 2, when will Chicago see or move in that direction? And if so, what will that look like during this pandemic?
Look, we're obviously very concerned at the trajectory that our cases are on, and I'll have a lot more to say about that later in the week. But we're concerned, and we really implore people to wear a face covering. It works. It helps to really mitigate the spread of the disease. I can't emphasize enough, based upon the data that we're seeing here in Chicago, it's critically important that people limit the social gathering that they're attending. We've said no one outside of essential workers should be going into your household. You should not be attending big parties and weddings and other social occasions. That's a hard thing to say because I know we need a time to kind of come together and be together in this very difficult time. But right now, what we know is those gatherings where people are violating the rules, it's going to lead to you or me or someone else getting sick, going into the hospital, and worse, dying. So we've got to buckle down on the public health guidance that we know is our only tool until there is a vaccine that is finally authorized, mass produced, and then pushed out, which is not going to be until sometime deep into next year. So right now, we've got to lean into the tools that we know make a difference.
On the topic of a vaccine, Beth from CBS 2 asks, what plans are being discussed for distributing a COVID vaccine in Chicago? What would that look like, and when do you think we may have vaccines to distribute?
Well, we don't know when we're going to have a vaccine to be distributed. We saw some interesting news today from Pfizer, but still we don't have a vaccine that has been authorized by the FDA and ready for mass production. I hope that that comes obviously sooner rather than later, but we don't know when that's going to be, and I don't want to speculate. However, having said that, our Department of Public Health has been planning since the summer on what that would look like, been in close consultation with the CDC. So when it happens, we'll be ready, but I don't want to get ahead of myself with any other details.
Are stay-at-home orders, the ones that we saw in the beginning of this pandemic, is that a part of the conversation right now for Chicago?
Look, we've learned a lot since the spring. When this pandemic first hit Chicago, all of us were kind of scrambling to figure out what was this, how deadly was it, how does it spread, how is it transmitted, and we used a lot of broad and candidly blunt tools because we were at the very early stages of our learning. We know a lot more now about the virus and how it works, although there's some things that are clearly still beyond all of the best scientists and epidemiologists' knowledge. But what I think, and this is obviously supported by our public health team, is that while we are seeing a city where the spread is across every neighborhood, across every demographic, every age group, we've got to be very strategic about the way in which we deploy interventions. We've got to use a surgeon's knife and not a blunt axe. So in thinking about the next steps, that is really the mindset that we are taking. We have a sense of what the challenges are, where in our city down to the block level and census tract those challenges are. So the next set of interventions that we will announce are going to be focused on really trying to make a difference in those areas using tools that we think are the best levers to pull given the challenges that we're facing. We want to be very smart and strategic and data-driven because, as I said, while we feel like the surge that we're experiencing now is the same or worse than the spring, we've learned a tremendous amount since then.
And the last question, Mayor, is from A.D. Quigg at Cranes. What's the current whip count for your budget?
Well, I think we're getting very, very close.
Thank you, Mayor, and thank you, everyone.
Thank you.
And it's great to be back.
Thank you.